Hi, friends. Today I'm going to talk about the 2022 Chinese sci-fi tragicomedy Moon Man. A young man named Duguyue applies for a position as an engineer at a lunar station. Unfortunately, there are enough engineers, so he accepts the role of a cleaner. He becomes part of the Moon Shield project, designed to protect Earth from asteroid Pi, which orbited Mars for thousands of years before suddenly deciding to move on. The Chinese government proposed a mission to the moon to create a superweapon, the space hammer, to destroy Pi, with the debris being absorbed by the moon, thereby protecting Earth. Everything goes according to plan, and the catastrophe seems to have been averted. Duguyue is ready to return to Earth, having resolved some personal issues. He has been hopelessly in love for a long time, and now decides to confess his feelings by preparing two figurines in spacesuits to give to his beloved. He rushes to the airlock, but station workers distract him, and his plan fails. So he decides to write her a love letter and hurries to his cabin. Meanwhile, the command announces that the remnants of Pi are about to hit the station. An immediate evacuation order is given. Everyone, except Duguyue, rushes to the ships. Immersed in his daydreams, he doesn't notice the warnings until he sees the ships launching. He races towards the rockets, only to watch them take off without him. No one notices his absence. The last module lifts off, and Duguyue is left alone on the moon. Suddenly, dozens of rocks rain down, destroying part of the station. He tries to dodge them, hides in a crater, but is ultimately hit by debris. When he regains consciousness, his oxygen is almost gone, but everything has calmed down. He yells in frustration at the blue planet above, realizing he's been forgotten, and then watches as a huge meteor crashes into Earth, followed by a massive explosion that engulfs the planet's surface. Duguyue understands that he is the last human alive. He reaches the base and finds it relatively intact. There's air and plenty of food, but no connection to Earth. He holds a memorial ceremony for his crewmates and his beloved Langsing. His last wish is to enter her room, but it's locked with a code. He spends weeks trying different combinations until he decides to blow the door open. He finally enters and creates a mannequin with Langsing's photo as its head, setting up a dinner with his imaginary companion, unaware that the survivors on Earth, including Langsing, are watching him. With no communication with the moon, people are forced to just observe. Langsing reports to the chairman that Duguyue is stranded on the moon due to her negligence, but the chairman decides that they should start live broadcasts from the moon so the world can see how Duguyue is living. The meteor's impact caused tectonic shifts, triggering tsunamis that wiped out 30% of Earth's land. Cities are covered in volcanic ash, and survivors live underground in dire conditions. If they make Duguyue a hero, he could inspire hope, and they begin by crafting his image and narrating lunar reports. Langsing announces to the world that the man on the moon gave up his seat on the rocket for a colleague. He was hit by asteroid debris, and she thought he was dead. But he survived, and soon they'll start broadcasting his life. This will drive fear from people's hearts. People around the world tune in, though many are skeptical. Meanwhile, Duguyue confesses to Langsing's photo that he wanted to end his life. First, he starved himself, then nearly died from overeating. Turns out, dying is hard work. At that moment, he finds an empty pill bottle. Realizing this is an easy way out, he heads to the storage room. But then, he notices empty food wrappers. Langsing orders a live broadcast. The only surviving voice actor arrives at the command center. With no script, he has to improvise. Duguyue opens the door to the storage room and sees a figure lying there. The actor prepares to narrate for the man on the screen. Duguyue starts talking to the figure, relieved not to be alone, and notes that there's enough food for both of them. Langsing urges the actor to sound inspiring to give people hope. Duguyue turns around and sees a kangaroo. At that moment, the animal's face appears on screen, and the actor's voice cheerfully announces It's a super day. Viewers on Earth are stunned, wondering what a talking kangaroo is doing on the station. The research department admits they left a kangaroo named King Kongru on the moon, known for its bad temper and voracious appetite. Duguyue is distraught by such a companion, as it's taken over the storage room, blocking his access to the pills. He's forced to come up with ways to neutralize the animal. The world watches as Duguyue tries to sneak into the storage room with a shovel, but King Kongru is asleep at the door. He steps over it and reaches the medicine cabinet, but as he heads out, the animal appears behind him and easily breaks the tool. Duguyue devises a new plan, disguising himself as a female kangaroo. The actor narrates to the audience that Duguyue plans to seduce the animal while he makes his way to the coveted bottle. But King Kongru moves on to the next stage of intimacy, and Duguyue has to save his dignity. The bottle breaks. He complains to Langsing about the humiliation and shows his bruises, but refuses to give up. Langsing and her colleagues apologize to the chairman for Duguyue's behavior, which has turned into a farce. But then new information arrives, portraying Duguyue as a hero. He printed a Gatling gun on a 3D printer and started a battle with Kong, initially gaining the upper hand, though not for long. The fight goes back and forth. They circle around the hall, and the man falls after another blow, remaining motionless. A worried Langsing tries to contact him. Duguyue notices the flashing audio signal on the screen and realizes he's not alone. He weeps, knowing there are others who remember him, not realizing it's the kangaroo's tail causing interference. The world is stunned. He hears them, and Duguyue looks at Earth, crying with joy. He proposes to stop fighting, to which the animal agrees. From that day, the man begins to think about a rescue plan. Since 1969, the Apollo program had been conducted on the moon, and one of the last ships is still on the surface. He just needs to get there, take the engine, fly to the lunar orbit station, and return to Earth in the rescue capsule. He starts building a device to take him home. People on Earth marvel at the cleaner's ingenuity, and when they find Duguyue's personal file, they're even more surprised that an aerodynamics engineer ended up as support staff. Meanwhile, Duguyue discovers that Apollo 18's rocket engine is beyond repair and can only carry 10 kilograms. He tries to leave the kangaroo on the moon, but Kong doesn't allow it. In the process, Duguyue recalls an ancient Chinese inventor who wanted to fly with fireworks, and they have something similar, the moon hammer. It's quite far from the base, though, and Earth is concerned that his lunar vehicle is solar-powered. Duguyue won't make it to the hammer. The world holds its breath, not understanding his plan. He won't reach the hammer before the sun sets. Only Langsing finally realizes he'll head in the opposite direction, following the sun. If he rests for 4 hours a day and drives the rest of the time, they'll reach the destination and have time to return. Survivors watch in awe as Duguyue and his companion journey across the moon. Fatigue soon sets in, and the pair struggle to stay awake. Finally, they reach their destination. After the catastrophe 50 years ago, the base was abandoned, but the rocket is intact. Duguyue locks the troublesome kangaroo in a compartment and sets off on the return trip, not noticing that the cart carrying his tailed friend has detached. Earth realizes he can't go back. He won't make it before the sun sets. People think Kong's story has ended and mourn him, but Duguyue returns. However, by all calculations, they won't make it back to the base. Duguyue drives non-stop for 53 hours. He switches to battery power, but it won't last long. Eventually, he stops 55 kilometers from the base. Duguyue says goodbye to Kong and suddenly notices the kangaroo chasing the light reflection from his flashlight. In the next moment, he builds a sled, attaches it to Kong, shines the light in front of him, and the animal races towards the base in giant leaps. Duguyue's victory creates positive chemistry among all the survivors, earning him the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Life on Earth starts to improve, slowly restoring the climate And most importantly, people believe in the possibility of survival. But one day, Duguyue notices why the communication equipment sometimes works and falls into despair. Kong accidentally hit the wires. He writes a letter to Langxing, saying life has meaning when someone waits for you and leaves the light on. He just wanted to return to where she is. The man leaves Kong a stuffed animal friend and says goodbye. He addresses the people of Earth, admitting that they simply forgot him on the moon. But he did everything to survive and give them hope. And now, it's their turn to save him. Duguyue steps outside and presses the depressurization button, looking at the distant Earth, while people come out and start shining lights into the sky, from small flashlights to ship spotlights. Duguyue sees these lights and cries with joy. He is not alone. Soon, communication is restored. People say they watched his every move, and he's overjoyed, realizing he hasn't been abandoned or forgotten, and most importantly, Langxing is speaking directly to him. Duguyue starts constructing a ship to return, and now, every day, he sees his beloved. One day, he confesses that he joined the service crew only because he met her and wanted to be close. She asks for forgiveness, as she saw him running towards the rocket, but still gave the order to launch because she had no other choice. Finally, the day comes when the lunar pair departs for Earth. Duguyue's ship docks with the space station. At that moment, Langxing is informed that the largest piece of the meteorite is still in orbit, heading towards Earth. The only space hammer is on Duguyue's ship. Humanity's last hope is him. Langxing reaches out to Duguyue, but he's already heard everything and understands the risk, and he'll do it. People are asked to go underground again. Humanity is on the brink of destruction. Duguyue puts Kong in the rescue capsule and says goodbye, despite the kangaroo's protests, then flies between the meteorite fragments, searching for the largest one. His module spins out of control after a collision. He loses control. Duguyue has to open the cabin door. The situation stabilizes, but the navigation system is completely out of order. He sees the asteroid and calls out to Langxing. She has to synchronize his module with the controls and press the destruction button herself, while he will deliver the rocket. He says goodbye to humanity, admitting he always wanted to be average, but now he stands between Earth and the asteroid. He has no family, but he feels he's not alone. The rocket detaches from the ship and flies towards the asteroid, piloted by Duguyue. He sings Langxing's favorite song while she weeps over the control panel as the rescue capsule with Kong lands on Earth. Langxing presses the button. People come to the surface and watch as harmless asteroid fragments fall to Earth, paying tribute to the hero. More than 10 years pass. People have worked hard to restore the climate and are ready to return to the moon. Kong has started a family and lies watching the launch of Langxing's spaceship. Later, she lands and sees Duguyue smiling at the station entrance. However, only she can see him. A wonderful, kind, funny, and inspiring movie with great special effects, though they aren't the main focus of the film.